Hello everyone and welcome to my channel, and today I will be reading an Arlecchino listener by me. So let's get into it. You've been out here for hours, a single pawn in Arlecchino's latest scheme. And though you trust her, mostly, there is a nagging discomfort that twists in your stomach tonight. It was not unusual for Arlecchino to be distant and methodical during missions. You knew that about her long before the two of you became lovers. But something about tonight has you on the edge. Like you're being dangled over the precipice that you cannot quite see. Keep walking. You're nearing the mark, she said, her voice low, crackling through the communicator in your ear. You inhale, keeping your voice steady as you replied. This is still just a recon job, right? A faint pause crackles over the line, and then, yes, stay close to the fountain in the square. They will notice you soon. Your fingers twitch as you glance around the fog-drenched street. The square ahead is open and exposed, practically glowing under the moonlight. A perfect trap, a perfect place for bait. You grip the communicator, lowering your voice. Arlecchino, you're using me as bait, aren't you? The silence that follows is telling. And eventually she responds, her tone sharp. You're the best suited for this role. They know your face, they've been tracking you, and we need them out in the open. Do you understand? You clench your teeth, letting the tension in her words settle over you. This isn't the first time you've been given a risky part to play, but it's the first time you're realizing just how much she's willing to risk, even with you. You take a steadying breath, stepping forward into the square and feeling every nerve in your body tighten. Fine, but you'd better have a plan. She does not answer, though you know she's listening, and you continue to walk toward the center of the square, each step heavier than the last. The faint flicker of movement catches your eye, and your instincts scream that you're being watched. You've been seen. In a matter of seconds, shadows pour into the square from the surrounding alleyways. 5, no 6, figures emerge, each one cloaked, each one's gaze locked on you. You shift your stance, preparing for a confrontation, heart hammering in your chest. Arlecchino, now would be a great time to step in. You hiss, but there is no response, and one of them steps forward, their voice low and taunting. All alone, aren't you? How convenient. You curse under your breath, taking a defensive step back. I wouldn't be so sure about that. A dry chuckle echoes over the line. Finally, her voice cuts through. Hold your ground. I'm here. Just keeping an eye on things. Keeping an eye? That's all you're doing? You can't help the edge of frustration in your voice, a mixture of fear and anger clawing at you. Another one lunges forward, testing your reaction. You dodge back, your hands clenching into fists. Arlecchino, Trust me, this is necessary. She murmurs, the intensity in her voice low, almost like a plea masked beneath a command. Trust. It's a strange thing to cling to in a moment like this, but even with a surge of adrenaline, you force yourself to stay steady. The group is closing in now, their movement coordinated, blocking off any routes of escape. They have you exactly where they want you. and one of them lunges forward. You barely manage to dodge, but another strike quickly follows, and you shout out Arlecchino's name. And then, as if summoned by your voice, she appears, dropping from above, landing between you and your attackers with a fluid grace that only she possesses. She straightens, her gaze is cold as steel as she assesses the group surrounding you. And then, in a flash, she summons her scythe, glancing back at you, a smirk tugging at her lips. "Took you long enough," you mutter, still catching your breath, and she arches an eyebrow, a slightest hint of amusement in her expression. "Had to let them think they had the upper hand. Now, let's teach them why that was a mistake." Without another word, she turns to the first one, and she dispatches them with ruthless efficiency. Her movements are swift and practiced, each strike landing with deadly precision, and for a moment, you can only watch as she moves, a fierce beauty in the way she fights. You feel a strange sense of security in her presence, knowing that when she's here, no harm can ever reach you. And soon, you fall into step right beside her, and in a matter of minutes, the square is silent once more. Arlecchino turns to you, her gaze sweeping over you. "Are you hurt?" "No, thanks to you." She reaches out, fingers brushing against your arm, a touch uncharacteristically tender. "You did well," she murmurs, though there is a weight behind her words that makes you pause. "You're infuriating, you know that." "Careful, you're speaking to your savior," she warns, though there is an amused lilt to her tone. "My savior, he used me as bait. You didn't have to put me through that." "Perhaps not, but you wouldn't be here if I hadn't taught you to face danger with a level head. I knew you could handle it, and I was here the whole time." "Barely." She sighs, wrapping an arm around you and pulling you a bit closer, a hand of hers resting on your shoulder. "Trust me, it is not something I give easily, but you have it, and I will not let anything happen to you. Never, all right?" Her words settle over you, a warmth that cuts through the rain and the chill of the night. "Fine," you say, the tension in your voice easing. "But next time, maybe we can skip the part where I'm the target." She chuckles, a rare sound, "if you insist." And you smile softly as she pulls you close, her arms wrapping around you, as you realize that despite everything, there is nowhere else in the world that you would rather be, especially if the alternative was you being in her arms like this.